Oh, hey, Brittany.
I made it!
You're here already.
I am here.
We thought we would have to wait for Brittany today, but
Yeah.
as it turns out,
And I
she's
ran,
appeared.
so I'm sorry.
Well, welcome, Brittany, and welcome all you perfect peeps out there. How are you doing today, Britt?
Exhausted already. It's been a busy morning.
It's been a long week. How is week 3 at Netlify?
Oh,
4?
we're on like week 7.
No way. Is it that?
Right?
Wow.
It's been that long.
Oh my gosh.
Time is an enigma.
Holy smokes. Well, that's
I
awesome.
think it might be week 6. I don't know. I can't keep track, but maybe next week is week 7.
I know you tell me all the time how amazing it is, but do you have any tidbits to the audience, like oh my gosh, this happened, that you can share?
Oh my gosh, this happened. Oh, Lord, I don't know, but the
Did
culture there
Jason
is
take you
so.
out for waffles or anything?
We do have a all hands coming up, so I'm kind of excited about that, to finally meet some of the people that I've been working with. But Phil posted the other day one of the remotely interesting recordings of all of us laughing, and that is literally how every meeting is. So that is probably the best part, is that it's just us laughing 24/7.
That is awesome. I love all the channels you keep telling me about in Netlify, so that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, Slack is like a fun Discord server.
For sure.
I feel like my lips are behind my speaking, so I don't know what's happening with the camera.
Oh, I don't know. I had to move you over here, so I'm not even watching the video.
Oh, you got the second monitor hooked up today.
I do. It's a terrible one. It's my old one that I had hooked up to a Raspberry Pi, but it's fine for this kind of stuff. So
yeah.
I wanted to bring up, since it's Friday and we should promote the heck out of each other. You have an amazing podcast / not podcast guide and tutorial floating around.
Which one? I have. Oh, yes. Okay.
So this is
Yeah.
pretty sweet. Do you want to
I
tell
have
us
the
about
how
your?
to deploy solid.js. Yeah, I did that. I also did one on the acronyms of rendering. And so I've got a couple floating out there right now. Fun.
If I click you, does
Solid.js.
it go to it?
It should. Yeah, I should have my own little author page. And I've got our stuff in there. If you didn't notice, that Perfect Dev and Coding Cat Dev is mentioned up there in my bio.
It is. Look at that. Love
Yeah,
it.
they're not linked out. I don't know. Maybe I need to go and add the markdown links to that. But yeah, it's been just an amazing experience there. And I think I'm having internet issues because I tried to send Nikki a message and it errored out on me. So maybe that's why I'm having some lag.
Man. Okay. Well, no big deal. Hey, Nikki. Nice. Hey, friends.
My
So
computer opened
this is
3
the Nikki we're
instances of
talking about.
Blender. That could be causing some
Oh,
issues too.
yeah. Blender takes a few resources. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was probably some of my problem. Maybe it'll
stuff.
catch up now.
I haven't asked you this because I still stink at it, but should I hang out on Twitch as well while we do this?
Should you hang out on Twitch, in your personal stream?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe
we're
this is
streaming
blurry
out
again.
there,
Sorry.
right? I don't know.
Yeah, and then that way we could have our personal names on there as well. That is a great idea. Yeah, and then that way we. Except you have to mute it.
I know.
Love Twitch and the autoplay.
Hello. Hi all.
Okay.
Nice.
I
will work on that next time. I didn't even think about it until we were just talking about kind of these comments coming in and stuff like that. So we're not quite as advanced as Jason and I don't know, a few others with, I don't know how he does it still. I got to look at OBS coming in, and we could do that.
I am working on that on my own personal stream. So I'm planning on doing this live learning in public thing with the Twitch stuff. So maybe once I get mine, we can do Coding Cats together.
Sweet. I love it. Let's do a whole tutorial on it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's dive into it. So this is Code with Coding Cat. We're trying to do live code every Friday, at least when we're, available and not traveling to conferences, because I'm so
And
excited
and
that
when
copies are
Brittany
back.
is not picking up children
Right.
and running around like a crazy person.
Luckily, mine's 13. He's like riding around his bike on
Kind
his
of
own. So
independent.
yeah. So yeah, where we kind of left off last time, Brittany was teaching me Svelte Kit, which was incredible, and we're kind of attempting to build Coding Cat on Svelte Kit, and so today we're going to show you how to like add a Notion API if you are using Notion, and then we're going to hopefully, if we have time, get Tailwind and DaisyUI installed, and then see if we can make some pages.
Woohoo!
That's where we're
I'm
at.
very excited about this Svelte kit transition because it's going to help me learn more about Svelte too. So I'm excited about that process and
Yeah.
teaching you like my knowledge.
Yeah, I love it. And then we can keep expanding our intro to Svelte and go to like an advanced Svelte course.
Yes.
We can try to challenge, what is it?
All the Svelte.
Learn-sveltekit.com or something
Oh,
today.
we're never
Uh,
learn.svelte.dev. Learn
learn,
dot svelte. I can't believe that they released it. Rich
pretty
Harris had
awesome.
a talk yesterday at JS Nation, and that's not it either. I don't know what it
Oh,
is.
okay. I thought this is
Um,
what I saw.
I have it somewhere. I will find it and I will link it to the chat. But he had a talk yesterday and he talked about them building this. And I'm an ambassador and I got a little inside preview and got to do some of the alpha testing of it. So
Woohoo!
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, those Stack Blitz votes. Thank you for putting all the things into the browser. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We should have them back on. We check out our pod that we did with them a while back.
Yeah, I had to miss that one. So I would love to have Tomas. Is that who that was?
That's who came on before. I'm sure he would come back on for sure. Maybe we could talk
Yes.
about how Svelte actually works or something in there.
Learn.svelte.dev. So maybe you were right and I just typed it incorrectly.
Learn.svelte. Yeah, I think that's it. That's the one I saw the other day. So it's got
There's
the
the
web
link
container
for everyone.
pulling.
It's so nice. Running Svelte kit in the browser.
Maybe we can
What?
use this as an iframe to our tutorial. Is that like illegal? I don't know.
No, you can. And all of this is open source. So you would be able
Really?
to, like, the Svelte REPL is open source too. Hey, thanks, Xanix. I have to get my clip from my stream the other day set up because Salma tried to share my clip and it was just blank. And she's like, you
Oh.
need some clip hygiene on Twitch. So I
Clip
think we probably
hygiene.
need it for Coding Cat too.
Yes, yes. I wish anyone want to volunteer to run like our Twitch. Let me know.
Oh, yeah.
Or I could throw you some cash if we need to. Just DM us. Okay, so I think we've gathered a quorum, as they say. I don't know why, but that's what they say. I think we have some peeps hanging out. And so I'm going to dive into Notion and kind of how to get that set up first. So if you are ever using Notion on the front end and you're like, what does the API do? You can go to developers.notion.com. They have great guides out here on different ways to start up and like work with databases. It can be pretty confusing just looking at blocks and how child blocks are used and things like that. If we want to, I can get into the Postman and show you kind of what ours look like and different things. They also have the API reference, so we can refer back to this if we have questions.
Did you end up writing a tutorial from the one that you did last week?
Not yet. I started
Okay.
it. It's out in our Notion.
I was going to try to do something because you copied and pasted a lot of the things we already
Our
have in
Notion.
Next.js. And so I was going to try to make it.
Brittany might have froze, so hopefully she makes it back. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Sorry, this internet thing.
That's okay. If you need to reboot something, I'll just be hanging out. So
I do. I need to restart. It's telling me it's going to do it automatically in 3 minutes. So I'm just going to restart now and maybe get the internet back in check. So I'll be right back.
I'll show the peeps how to do an integration. All right. So basically, when we're looking at the developer API, in order to use this within a Notion workspace, you have to set up an integration. And an integration essentially is the same thing as a user. It has a little more like maybe not pared down rights, but a lot more generic rights, I'll say. So currently we have this development space for our Notion that copies over like our production data, so we can hit that. And Notion is not the perfect thing to use for an API yet. I'm working on some Cloud something workers. There we go. Either on GCP or write some lambdas. I was checking out edge workers too, so maybe put a Redis cache in front of this stuff. There's a couple options. So if anyone has suggestions, let me know for caching the Notion API. But you're only allowed 3 API calls per second, but it allows for bursts too. So actually, this might be important for those trying to check this out. Let me see where that was at. I think it's in capabilities. No. Shoot. Request limits. Totally missing it. There we go. Yeah, so here is your 3 requests per second. You can do a lot to like mitigate that with the 429s and retries, but if you're trying to build an entire static site like we're going to be doing, you're definitely going to get that burst. And so they do call that out somewhere. I guess it doesn't actually say it, but I believe I read somewhere like if you have 2,700 calls within 15 minutes or something like that. So we can build our entire production site. I don't know how many pages you could do with that, but we actually leverage a lot of ISR on ours too. So if you're not familiar with ISR, we can actually put most of our static site pages out there. And then for the ones that we don't really care about during our build cycle, they will build on demand. So that's what that's all about on the Next.js side. Okay, that's for Next.js. We'll see what SvelteKit can do. For the integrations now, so we have our development and our production one. When we dive in or you dive in to go add a new one, you can click create new one, and we'll just call this, I think we're going with CCD SvelteKit. And then this is the important part. I kept skipping this. So let me show you Notion real quick, just so this makes sense. So this is our Notion page. And within this, we have a top level coding cat, but these are our workspaces. So we technically have our production one, which we pay for. And then we have our development one that's listed here as well. So we're actually going to pick that development one to code against, at least for now. We might have to change this later.
Do I have access to that one?
I don't know. I'll check. If not, I'll add you because that'll be important for our future stuff. Because I'd like to get us working on development in development.
I have so many workspaces. I don't see it, so I don't think I
Okay.
do, but no big deal right now.
So for the API side of things, realistically, you only need the read content. We're doing a lot more with our APIs where we actually do like a Calendly integration and write our own cards when someone schedules a podcast and things like that. So I actually use multiple. I should break that out to a different API. I'll probably do that eventually, but we'll get there. For our sakes, for this tutorial, we're just going to leave them all on. Make my life easier in case we do something else. So now that we have our CCD SvelteKit, I'm going to go off screen a minute because I believe we tucked away some .env file, and I messed up the name on this completely last time we were coding.
So .env instead of .env.local, was that
Yes.
the issue? And I was in and out last time. So
Yeah. So for those of you, if we left off and things were somewhat broken, maybe. Hang on one sec. I gotta find Finder here. Open in Finder. Reveal. That's what always screws me up. Reveal in Finder. Okay. Yeah. So if you left off last time and you're having issues, I think we had ours named .env.local, which was a problem. It needs to be .env.
and that was a problem for the .env package, right? Because SvelteKit, I think, comes by default with the .env.local file.
Oh, really? That's interesting. So I wonder why we needed that then. So we'll do some research and put that in the tutorial.
I think it was the package that needed it.
Okay, that makes sense. I know James was having some issues too.
Yeah.
Out in Learn, Build, Teach, and I think we got him sorted around too. So there's some oddities. If you have questions, go out to our Learn, Build, Teach Discord and check it out. What is it? LearnBuildTeach.com?
learnbuildteach/community.com. I will link that to believe that is correct. Community.
I don't think there can be a slash in there.
That is it. Yep. Learn, build, teach. It's a reroute.
Gotcha.
Teach.
Okay, so I definitely do have some stuff in here. I do not want
Redirect, I guess, is the
email.
actual correct terminology behind that.
So give me 1 sec. I'll copy these environment variables. I thought I had them already.
You don't think there can be a slash in the URL? What were you saying?
I don't think it would be slash and then a .com after. Top level domain comes before path. So.
Learnbuildteach.com/community. Did I say it the other way? Sorry.
I was just kind of giving you a wink, but it's all good. Maybe I heard it wrong. I mean, it's Friday.
Oh no. Yeah, it's probably me. I have been to like 5 places already this morning, and it is like 11 o'clock here. So
why?
Are you having trouble finding the environment variable file thing? Something?
I'm mentally having trouble today.
I would love to get this working where I could like either code along with you or I could do some coding.
Yeah, I would love to share it with you again. So let me share that over. I think I put out in Learn, Build, Teach anyone that wanted to join through the link out there. So if you're part of Learn, Build, Teach, you can come on with.
Click on that link that I just dropped in the chat.
Hang on 1 sec. Forgot we hid the env file. This makes it more challenging.
Oh, you can't even find it in VS Code.
Right.
I gotcha.
I have to keep opening.
You hid it from yourself.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I have development, that. Okay. I think for the most part, I can delete the rest of this. I might be breaking something, but we'll get there. Okay. So now we have somewhat of the correct keys. Let me double check. I have the new security key in there. Nope. It does not want to copy either. There we go. Okay. I think we can try this now. But yeah, Brittany,
you just showed your key.
Did I? Oh, it's only like a quarter of it. And this is just the Svelte one. We're okay.
I was like, you just took so much to not do that.
No, this is, and we can burn this one down. That's not a big deal. I just don't want our production one out there. Okay. So yeah, definitely. Now I show the whole thing. Definitely copy that whole key, and that's what you can use for what we're going to do with our calls. So you'll put that in a .env file. And now I'll go to VS Code. I'll actually kick off live share.
What did you name that?
Let me kick this off and see if you can log into it.
Yeah.
I think maybe.
We're going to see. We're going to see if my computer agrees with me today. It's already being finicky. Tried to install updates on me in the middle of a stream.
I'm just saying the live share link in private. Okay, so here we are in SvelteKit. We have our .env file that we are pulling in to different routes. For example, this is the part that kind of threw me off last time. So the slug.svelte, this took in just our page data and we were looking at it. The slug.ts is where we actually make some calls out. So for us, just we're hiding a little bit, and that's just because I wanted our data to come through correctly. So I basically copied all of our server stuff from our CCD. So this is what the actual calls look like on a Notion client. So Notion client.databases.query. And that Notion client, in order to initialize, looks like that. So this is where that whole process.env came into play. So I'm crossing my fingers here. Localhost, is it 3000 for Vite?
For SvelteKit, it is, yes.
Woo woo. Or yeah, Svelte. Thank you. Let's make it a little bigger so people can see. And I
I'm gonna
think,
try
I
to
hope,
just
failed to load.
I'm
Sad
gonna try to
face.
just continue in the browser. What failed to load?
Failed to load route. I'm guessing it blew up on our client call. Invalid request URL. Fun. Okay.
Do you know what icon package you're using in VS Code? That looks like maybe material.
Minus, yes. Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna take another look at what I'm missing in the .env file. So
Sign in, please.
I thought I had a good example going. Gosh darn it.
Can I see the error and stuff? I can't get into the live share again. I don't know.
Yeah.
The VS Code is not syncing.
Move a couple things over on a
GitHub
screen.
mobile. And then everything has 2FA. So it's like, please do this on your phone. And it's not sending anything to my phone. Oh, there it goes. Everything is going slow today. Joining collaboration session. That sounds pretty. Yes.
Yes, accept that.
Okay. Now I can see the code.
I have all of our environment variables.
I can see the error now. So invalid request URL in the Notion HQ client. So that's not a SvelteKit error. Is that the env thing that you were running into last week?
You know what? Let's check it out. So if I do a console log, process env dot, let's do Notion, not token.
That's weird. It's not updating the text on my screen. Oh, this is annoying.
Oh, ha. Yes.
It is?
No, it's totally my fault.
Okay.
I copied all the share links. So this is actually something good to show people. When you are trying to fish around for like page IDs and stuff in Notion, you actually can click the share and then go through that. Let me clean up this file really quickly and then it should be good.
Join collaboration section. Maybe that will work if I just try to copy the link and do it in VS Code. So this is not working in the browser very well. Oh, RPC connection closed. Did you shut the server down and it closed it?
Probably, yes.
Okay. So it's not me. It's you.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. It's still showing me in the browser, but I can't get it running in VS Code at all. It hates me.
I think I can share the URL or the, what's the word I'm looking for? The host out as well.
Oh, come on. Do it. Yes, it did it in VS Code. I just had to restart it. Yay.
I see your cursor.
Would you like to view this in the browser? Yes, I would. Would love to see that. And I am getting it in the browser. I'm getting a home route in my browser.
Nice. I thought I had all that set up right. So we're live coding together this week. That's exciting.
Yes.
Okay.
We can't see your screen.
I don't want to show it just yet.
Okay.
Perfect. In one sec. If you want to show your screen, we can do that.
I
just have to delete
your screen.
4 more things. And
share
then
screen.
We should be good to go.
Share. Yay. There's my screen, and it's following Alex Patterson. We've got our terminal down here, and we are working through this. I guess it's just a warning now. Where's the actual error? Did it disappear? Oh no, there it was. I just saw red.
Find database with ID. Okay, so we are much closer now. So this is a good time to show you what IDs we can look at. So when this says 06263 blah blah blah, I'm not showing my screen. So let me turn mine on. So when it has this could not find database, what we can do is now we can go out to Notion.
Oh, you have to share the database connection somehow
I thought I did
publicly?
that, but then I remembered we created a new integration just a minute ago.
Yeah.
So on this page, so if everybody remembers now that we've messed around for far too long and we should edit this video one day, basically we created an integration, but in order to have that access to anything, you'll notice no one's accessing our page right now. You have to invite the integration. So we're actually going to
Mm.
invite CCD SvelteKit. And actually, I'm going to do this one too while I'm out here. So now that we have that, it should at that point be able to see, update, and delete anything anything below this point. So if I were to go in our codingcat.dev, click share, it will show that this has access.
Nice.
So just keep that in mind. Yeah, so now if we refresh, we should. Hey.
It's got it down there. It's below our faces.
There's all of our podcast. What did I do? Click a link.
You went to
Okay.
podcast, and then now you're trying to grab the slug. So yeah, okay.
Cool. So there's all of our stuff, which is awesome.
Sweet. Yes, that is really awesome.
I have a feeling.
Can I see our code? Let me see what I can do here with src routes folder. Is that opening and closing your file system too? It like closed on me and I didn't click it.
No, I closed it. Sorry.
So
you're looking at this file.
We are iterating over. I am looking at the index.svelte in podcast right now.
In podcasts, index.
Right there, index.svelte.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make this a little more semantic because I noticed that you've put a bunch of divs in here. And so we're iterating over a list.
A quick one.
Posts. I know. So I'm just going to fix some of this real quick. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to wrap this in an LI. So we have like a semantic list.
See, folks, this is why you have designers on your team.
Well, I don't know if that's a designer thing. That's just
no, it's pure development. Sorry.
Okay, so now we have a list and we'll probably have some styling things, but I assume we're going to get to that when we get to our next fun little thing we're going to add.
Yeah, my larger concern is we should be able to click like 2.1 or something. So
you're failing to load data. This is failing in the slug.ts, the dynamic slug.ts file. So it's failing in there to grab the stuff from the server.
And it says cannot read Notion page ID. And then we have this ID. So let's go see what's up with our slugs. And maybe there's a connection issue occurring here. So if we go in to our podcasts, Coding Cat, Perfect Dev, streams. So we're at this level.
So you are calling get perfect stream page HTML and you're actually trying to get the params off of that. I'm just trying to like follow along here what's happening. So params.slug.
Yeah. So yeah, we can console log out that if we want to take a look at like what that actually is.
And see if that's actually grabbing something there.
Yeah, so let's do a console log params. And we should see this on both sides, the client and the server. So let's do an inspect. Refresh. Oh, sorry. Let me go back a page. So there we go.
Hey, how's it going, White Panther?
What
I don't know
Selma?
if I'm supposed to call you that or if I'm supposed to call you Selma. And so I'm just going to wing it every time I see you.
Does Vite or SvelteKit not do a console log like this?
It will.
On the client as well?
So
I see it on the server.
Are you grabbing?
Maybe because it's erroring. That's why it's erroring before we actually come back. So
yes,
that makes sense. So this is the slug that we're trying to look up. So let's go take a look at our podcasts. So we renamed these, by the way, streams, podcasts. They're kind of
Nice
equivalent.
one. You're doing what I want to be doing right now.
I'm missing all the fun, aren't I? Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a Mountain Dew, so.
I have a Pepsi, but that is not
Very
what I
exciting.
want to be drinking right now.
Oh, yes. Margaritas all around.
Oh, yes. That's happening later.
Let's take a look here. When we looped through all of our podcasts, let's just do all of our published, because we're filtering by all of our published podcasts. And when we go to number 21, what we should be looking up is a slug that looks like this, which I think. So hang on, let me get another one. So let's do Swix's 21. This one. Okay, so now we have, there should be there. So 2-21, linking your microservices with workflows. So that is going to be looking up for EB320484. I don't know why it's looking that up, but that's why it's looking up. So let's see in my .env that I continue to not be able to show people, which is kind of becoming a bummer.
The slug was right. It's
The slug
database right, or whatever it's doing, that database ID.
So I'm wondering if, again, something in our .env file is incorrect. And I'm going to find out.
Well, that's weird because it's pulling the post in. It's just you can't get the individual post.
But I think that EB32 is a different, so it might be trying to pull like recents in, because we do like all the recent things too, like recent courses and all that fun stuff.
Oh, and you have all of that in there?
Yeah, that has to do it on the server side too. So let me find, I don't see it in here. That is really intriguing to me.
I can put my screen back on so we can like look through some of this other code. So index.svelte, we've got the slug.svelte file. This is what you're trying to hit, and you're just rendering some HTML once the item comes back. I see.
Slug.ts. One more time.
Oh, you're going to kick me off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe it didn't.
It's interesting. So breakpoints. Do we know how to do those in SvelteKit?
Breakpoints? So like debugging breakpoints?
Yeah.
It's JavaScript.
On the back end, can I do it in VS Code? Like put a breakpoint right there?
Try it. I've never tried it, but just try it. See what happens.
My guess is we have to set up the whole like run and debug side of this. So
because it runs that on the client?
It's running this on the server side, right?
No, but I mean, is that where it normally runs that?
No. Well, like there's a whole debugging on the client side, but on the back end where we're actually fetching this data is on the server side.
Yep.
So we need to set a breakpoint within VS Code, and there's this whole like debug listening thing. Maybe that's a good exercise.
Can't you just do debug, like the JavaScript debug there?
I mean, I don't think you can pause this. So you can't do like debugger or anything like that.
What does that say when you hover over that?
It's unexpected. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work that way. However, I'm sure that we either have what? SvelteKit debugging?
Debug server in SvelteKit. Maybe I should search that on this tab so everybody can see that. How do you debug SvelteKit server-side code in VS Code?
Ooh,
that's a good
10 months ago. Holy smokes.
A convenient way to do. This doesn't work currently because of how Vite exports source maps during the dev process. So that might be a thing that it's blocked by Vite. But it could have been fixed in the 10 months since that's.
Yeah.
There's the @debug tag in SvelteKit, but that's in the .svelte files. That's what you're looking at. Or no, that's what I'm
looks
looking
like
at.
something.
You want me to share your screen?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. I wonder if we can actually just do just a normal node inspection. Node is already running. We can't add inspect retroactively. It's easy to start the dev server with inspector without adding the run script. Without editing the run script.
Oh, because
do that.
npm run dev is already running, and so you can't add in a parameter to it while it's running without restarting it. Is that what it's saying?
I think so. Let's try it out and see. So let's go to our package.json, and instead of
Svelte kit dev, it's the top one.
let's do that. I don't know if you need, maybe. Let's see. So I should be able to add a debugger, run and debug.
Oh, Nikki is helping. Let's see. If you add the debugger keyword, the red line is just ESLint complaining. From there, start npm run dev, but through the JavaScript debug terminal. Oh, you were just working on this yesterday, weren't you?
That's where I was going, was the JavaScript debug terminal.
Yeah.
Sweet. So if I do that, and then is she saying come back here and I can put it back in?
Put it back in, but then in the terminal there's a JavaScript debug terminal in VS Code, and I don't remember how you got to it. You just had the options up there.
I think
click that. And that.
I think that's just the normal terminal, right?
There it is, that one. Why is it jumping out?
I have no idea. Let's pause this for a minute and see what happens.
Pause or kill it.
That's really interesting. I wonder. Trying to see. That makes sense.
Nikki was just doing this on his stream yesterday, and I will find Nikki's Twitch stream to link out for everyone because that was a good watch.
So I'm wondering if I just leave this way, will that work? I feel like no matter what, it's hitting that too soon. Anyways, okay. Maybe I will hunt down this page and we will do a whole debugging section next time.
Page of ID, and that's the database ID, not the page ID.
So yeah, pages are all of the items in a Notion database.
So is it the right item ID for that page that we're trying to hit? And the slug is correct, and all of the...
Yeah, what I was going to do is go look up in our streams for 21. This is our page. And so kind of back to that whole Notion thing, how do you get an ID? If you go into Notion and click share and then copy link, this is the actual ID right here. So EB7525, is that what's in here?
7525, that's correct. And it can't read that page, so it's like it's not accessible.
Yeah, so let's see, under the share here, we have our development, or our CCD.
It says mixed access. Oh, so we can edit as the CCD Svelte kit.
Yeah, so let's take and click share here. And it says can edit CCD Svelte kit. So that's like all the accesses. My only other thought is maybe I had issues with this before where like dashes were showing up. Maybe that's the issue.
Dashes were showing up in the URL?
In the ID for the page. So like here, see how this doesn't have dashes?
And it does there.
So let's go ahead and we'll do the old manual
debugging.
debugging.
Some JavaScript regex and extract them to match it?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Could you use some JavaScript regex to extract the dashes, like remove the dashes?
I think we should just do not slice, but dot replace on that.
Dot
slug.
replace, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work.
So let's go find where this is happening. So we get the HTML.
If I ever build a site on Svelte, it will be your fault.
I think that's like a compliment, right?
That is a compliment, yes. And unfortunately, we're not even really showing the Svelte part here. We're having trouble hitting the Notion API. We're getting there, but hopefully this will be easier at some point.
Let's see. So we did our search. It's supposed to go find it by slug. And then I don't get the whole, because it's already got the data there. Oh, right, blocks. So there's this whole blocks piece to this. So then you go to format posts. And this is kind of a interesting, fun part of this.
What is this doing? This is
Okay,
grabbing the blocks on
up.
the page. Yeah.
Let me back way up. So on Postman, we could show this. So let's that's keys again. I don't want to mess with keys. Let me do this way. So at slug.ts, let's just follow this path and
take that debugger out.
Console log. Yeah. Anytime I pair program with Brittany, if she sees red line, she's like, fix that. I'm like, okay.
I can't stand them.
Yeah. When we do this call, what we can do is right here at the Notion client.databases query. Let's take a look at what actually comes out of this raw. So let's do a console.log, and then you can actually do JSON.stringify, so we actually see the whole thing. Raw, and then it's like level 1, right? Something like that. We'll just do it.
Oh, it's two common null, right?
Common null, is that what it is?
It's something, so it like formats it kind of nicer.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think that's right.
No,
it doesn't look right. Stringify.
Oh, I put the 2 in there, sorry. I'll just do it like this for now. So here is the JSON payload that came back. I just want to show people this, so I'll drop it into VS Code. Oops. VS Code is going to make it pretty for us with JSON.
Right. Nice.
So this is what we have in here. This big old mess. And what this actually is, when it searched by slug, it only brought back, or should only bring back, one post. So the result here is a single page. And that single page has this ID. And that's the ID that it keeps complaining about that it can't find, even though we just checked access and we're pretty sure that you can find it. Are you reading all the comments? Because I'm not keeping up as we're going.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so for most of so if you used like Markdown before, you can think of this as all of your not permalink, what's the gray matter, right? So like your gray matter.
Front matter?
What's that?
Front matter? What's
front
gray
matter? Front matter.
Gray matter is like brain splatter, right?
Gray matter is the package you can use to unpack front matter.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be one of those fun days, I'm telling you. And we've already clarified we haven't been drinking, just Mountain Dew. So.
Not yet. We're gonna start early.
You can think of these as kind of like your page properties. The only problem with this, and not really a problem, but the thing you have to know is, even though we got that page in our search, there is no actual like data or like the page content itself. This is just all about the page. So what we actually have to go and get is the page blocks that build the page up. And so that's kind of the next part. So
where is that?
So at this point, we've done our go get the page, and then we take that and send it through to format posts. Format post calls format post. Oh, zombies. I love zombies. No, I don't. They frighten me. So in format post, we can look at that. And in here, it's putting all those different properties because we had already been calling this from several different backends. We did Sanity, we did Builder. It's kind of a mess. And so I had to kind of stitch it back together. So like I had to put things in like cover video actually comes through as this, and I've got to like just slam it back into cover video. So this whole formatting piece is just going and getting all of those posts put together. So that's the whole like here is just the
So
post data part.
that post data is grabbing off of that big JSON object that you just showed.
Yep. And so if we walk back up the tree, so let's go down one more time. So now we're in here. We say, okay, well, now that you've gone out, you got the data, you've put it all together because our data's a mess.
Mm-hmm.
You cleaned it up. Now we're checking, do you actually have results? Yeah, we have results. Now we're going to actually go and fetch this URL. And so that URL right there,
Wait.
that should be the correct ID. And I think this might be where our problem is. So I think
Can
if
you
we
console log
console
that?
log this, we'll see that same ID that we were seeing over here. So let me bring that back up.
It's not saved.
This is saved. The JSON is not saved.
Oh, I see.
Let me just comment this out so we're not getting such a mess in here. Okay, so now we have in here. Here is here's the ID that we found. Here is the URL that says linking your microservices with blah 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 blah. And so that's where we're going after to set up the rest of this call. So right here, where we say raw results, go get the URL. This Notion page to HTML, I believe, is looking for a page URL. So you'll see this page URL right here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what this package does. Someone suggested that we try this out. So
Notion page.
if we go take a look at this, I'm guessing that it's not using the client API. So there's two versions of kind of the Notion API, if you will. There's the non-public one that they use on their page, and then there's the public version, which doesn't do everything that they do. And then what a lot of people do, which I'm assuming this package probably does, is they actually go try to scrape a public page. And so my guess is if we take and create or take and look at this and we share this and just make it public to the web. If we now try to run this, my guess is this will work.
It didn't error.
There you
Look
go.
at that.
So it's that package isn't actually looking for the data. So on our stuff that we use,
Can we just write a utility function or something that will do that?
Yeah, we can
or
write all
use
of
a
that.
different package. Okay. So we just need to do something and not have each page be public, because then anyone could go in there and edit it.
No, public you can leave editing off. So it would be fine
okay.
to leave them public. We're probably not going to.
Yeah, and
we,
that's a lot to go back through too and make public.
Yeah, and I like using like the standard APIs that they're providing to developers, because then we find out things too and find out our limitations and all that fun stuff.
Yes.
So we are actually kind of doing a very similar thing on Coding Cat, but we actually go out and fetch our guests as well as our perfect picks, and we concatenate all of that together onto a single page. So if I were to take a look at Coding Cat for this same post, podcast number 21. What up, Sean? If you're floating around. Here's the actual questions that we're looking at right now. That's the only piece of that page that comes out.
Oh,
We
okay. Yeah, you're just grabbing that one piece block,
Yes.
so to speak. Yeah.
Actually, it's all of the blocks for that single page. And then we go say, okay, we'll go find all of our guests. And actually, since Selma's out there, maybe we should show off. She was on Women of Jamstack, and we actually do multiple guests on that one. Where did that go? Okay, Command K, folks, use it. I love using it. Command K gets a search, and you can go like that, and it's not showing up. Did we not release that yet?
Oh, you haven't released it because
That's
it was a
right.
live one. It's on
It's coming
YouTube,
up.
but we haven't
Okay.
released it. So our podcasts are live on YouTube, but then we kind of re-release them in a weekly cadence.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. So let's look at one of these two
You
that
could
have
see it in
multiple.
Notion, but
So this actually fetches all of our guests, and you can see how it all comes out. So
this one is hilarious. This was one of the greatest like Friday afternoon
yes,
podcasts we ever did.
hanging out with Alyssa is always fun. Just
Yeah.
FYI. Angular on Air, check it out. We should
She's
probably
gonna
throw a link
MC a
out.
conference soon. Is that the one that she's MCing? Yeah.
I
Awesome.
I think she's doing ngconf, I believe.
Angular on air is what you
So
said.
Angular on Air is their podcast, and then
Oh,
with Shorty, and then
okay.
ngconf is the big Angular conference that Frosty kind of started, and it's
Mhm.
ballooned. So all the Angular peeps are there. So back to my original thought as we go down a rabbit hole. So here is linking your microservices with workflows. Cool talk, by the way, temporal. When I look at this, it also has an association here. So that's where we're fetching Sean's details. So we actually just keep pages up to date. I'm realizing I'm showing emails. Oh, shit. Sorry. That one doesn't work anyways. He's not there anymore. So we're good. So when we go grab Sean's page, it actually has all of Sean's details, his profile. So anytime we have somebody on, we can just tweak that. We don't have to keep like going and creating it on our page over and over. And then we also have our perfect picks, which my son has been so kind to update all of our perfect picks into a database finally. I think he's most of the way through it. Brittany can attest. We've gotten a bazillion alerts as he's doing it. So we can go look at all of our perfect picks for every single episode now. And what we do on this page, we look up the guest pick and Brittany and I's pick for this specific episode. And we glue that together too. So there's a bunch of stuff going on in the back end before we like even throw it up to the front end, at least for Coding Cap. So to keep it simple though, what we can do, Brittany, we can do this kind of two different ways. We can leave this just as the HTML that comes to us, which is fine for now. And then we can work on block stuff later. And then we can just start to put the Tailwind piece in so we can actually like get a cool looking UI instead of what we have.
Yeah, let's do something not messing with Notion.
Okay. Okay. So do you want to drive this or you want me to?
I will. Do you mean like do the live coding?
Just as far as you had some trick to install Notion.
I do have a trick. Yeah, I'm looking that up right now, so I make sure that I do it. But it's going to be Svelte add is the command that we're going to use. So in your terminal, you are going to have to shut it down.
Okay.
And
Let's
we're
make this
going
bigger because I know I had a hard time seeing it when I watched it back.
to put it over in the private chat, the command that you're going to run.
Sweet. Okay, so it looks like we're using oh, this isn't even the normal CLI. So they have just an npx command all on its own.
They have a Svelte add command for some popular packages that will set up all of the configuration for you immediately. Like you don't have to do anything, which is
That's really
super
sweet.
nice.
That's cool. So I'm gonna click that, cross my fingers type of thing. I hope this magic works. It's gonna
Yeah, we're
install
gonna
a bunch of
see.
node modules for Tailwind. Let's see what it changed on package. Let's take a look when it gets done. Set up and repaired. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because you have to install post CSS. You have to, like, this is all Tailwind stuff. So you have to install Tailwind, install post CSS, install, what are the other things? You have to have a Tailwind config file. You have to have a post CSS config file. And all of that should be done once it's done installing all of that. What's it saying underneath our
It's saying
faces
it
there?
can't be guaranteed to be fresh. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. If any issues arise after running this command, please try again. I think some issues arose because
Are you using Yarn?
I didn't use Yarn, but
It used Yarn. It detected Yarn and ran that by default. That's
uh,
NPX that did that then. Because you have Yarn installed on your system, it just did that.
oh, interesting. The weird thing is it didn't update.
You don't have a
the package.
Yarn lock file.
So let's just
Can
double check.
it,
Yeah,
it
it didn't
Tailwind is right
update
there.
any. What's that?
Tailwind is right there.
Oh, am I blind? Oh, it's in our dependencies, not dev dependencies. Thank you.
No, it is in dev dependencies.
Oh, right, because the post CSS.
Where is post CSS?
When it runs, I mean.
No, oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, it's
So
all
we're
in
good.
dev dependencies. So it'll install everything. You've now got a postcss.config.cjs, and that's one of the tricky things with Svelte kits because it uses ESM. So having those common JS config files was a big pain in the butt when Svelte kit first came out, trying to configure all that on your own. So this command will run that and do all the common JS things that you need.
Nice. I'm gonna actually do a commit undo because I think it snuck in. Yeah, that's what happened. So here's all of the things that added.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go.
Cool. And then I'll recommit. So now we can splash around Tailwind, or can we install DaisyUI? Because I'd like to use that for our site.
Well, let's make sure that Tailwind is working
Okay.
before we do pile on Daisy. Make sure, let's get, yeah, so we probably have some issues. Can't find modules, so you need to run an npm install.
That's what I was just going to say. You are on it.
I am. Sometimes.
You're always on it, if you ask me. That's why Netlify hired you.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Who is M. Huggins? Do we know M.
I think
Huggins?
it's Mark. Is that right? Am I saying it? Is it Mark Huggins?
I think so. Is it on? Yeah, I think so. Cool.
Yes, that's right. Yes, from Lumber of the Siege.
Run, dev, Yahtzee.
We are doing some Svelte kit and some Notion API stuff, and now we're installing Tailwind, and we're going to try DaisyUI. We have Tailwind running on our main site right now, but
do we need to just try a little Tailwind command now?
Yeah, so let's open up the SRC folder and the routes and look in the layout file and see if it connected the CSS. It did. So it imported your app.css for you, which should have your Tailwind stuff all set up.
Yes.
So Tailwind should be working if you like tried some Tailwind around something in the HTML somewhere.
Let's go index and make something fun. Like, I don't know. Oh, colors are going to be weird because I'm so used to our primary, which I think DaisyUI uses. So let's see if I do class. Oh my gosh, I don't have to write class name.
No, you don't. It's just HTML.
I'm out of React world, baby. This is awesome. Okay, so back BG slate. No, something fun. Purple.
Purple. Try purple. And yeah, there we go. Let's see what happened. It's probably going to be some awful colors, but not terrible.
I wish there was a package. Anytime I put like background purple, it just makes the font the correct color. Like, here you go.
Oh, like grabs the correct one. You could probably do like some sort of alias or something that would do that.
Remember when we were using Nightwind like yesterday? How it would flip. So if we had a primary color that was very light and you went to dark mode, it would just automatically calculate it.
Yep.
We should do something like that. That'd be cool. All right, let's do DaisyUI.
Okay. And I know Scott Spence uses DaisyUI all the time in Svelte kit. So I am going to try to find.
I'm going to do the npm command. So npm install DaisyUI. So I know Daisy is a little more opinionated than Tailwind. I don't know how much more.
Daisy is a UI component library. So you have like actual components where Tailwind just provides you the utility classes that you can create components with. Daisy has the full-fledged stuff.
And the cool part is that Daisy is still using Tailwind under the hood. People are just creating these components. So a lot of pre-built stuff, but you can keep going with Tailwind on top of it. It's one of the best ones I found. There's a ton out there. So there's also headless UI. So I think that is.
He actually uses it in his Jamstack Explorer course that he does right there.
Yeah, so here's headless UI as well. So that's, I think this is by the
That's
course, right? Yeah. So this is by Tailwind Labs. This is another cool one for
that
components.
one's not paid. Tailwind Labs is paid.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
So Tailwind
There
Labs.
is a Svelte headless UI too. So we have Svelte components with headless UI if you wanted to use that.
There is. That's cool.
Yes.
So if I look at like, oh, they're just not like listed out here yet.
It's not a headless. It's not from headless UI. One of the community members ported it over to Svelte though and runs it. So Svelte headless UI would be where that would be if you wanted to use that. Svelte
Really cool.
headless UI.
Sweet. Well, good job.
I don't know how to say his name. It's RGO.
Argua? Argua?
I don't know.
Arguas? I don't know.
Okay, there's a link to that.
I'm a poor American.
Is headless UI framework agnostic? I believe that they have one for each framework.
Yeah. So
right?
because Tailwind is just CSS at the end of the day, it's all framework agnostic. The cool thing about, did I close headless? The cool thing about headless is they actually provide the React parts of it though. So you can copy direct. Let's see here. So yeah, see how it has React and Vue. You can actually get the code directly for, so like class name. That's a very telling sign that that's React right there. And then if we go over to Vue, I should flip it and show you the Vue code, which is a little more challenging, at least for me. Here we go, vslot. That's a good call out. So it gives you the actual like code for those items too. Now Daisy, I don't know. I think it's just straight CSS, I believe.
Daisy UI, okay.
If I go to an alert, what's it have for HTML? So yeah, it's just got this kind of setup where it's just using Tailwind straight classes. So you're not gonna get like, if you want to use Daisy in React, that's not a thing right now. I'm sure they could do it because it's very simple to like set that stuff up. Yeah. So the cool part is if we ever want to use headless UI items too, they're just, again, CSS. We can drop them in anywhere. There used to be a big community like Tailwind components, I think it was called. I think it's this one. Yeah, so this is like a community driven one. If you ever like are out here and you want to check out something and grab it, totally open. Definitely try to give props to these people. They work really hard on making this stuff. And yeah, all right. So I think with all that said, Daisy has a very specific way to do like their layout, if I remember. It's been a minute.
Okay, but you're gonna have to configure Daisy to work with Tailwind too.
Yeah.
So we need to add the plugin for that.
Okay, this is just talking about it. And so let's do the config. So it's got the Daisy config here, and then these are optional. What do you think? Let's just throw it all in for now and see how it goes.
What is this? Those are optional. Let me see.
I think it'd be cool to have like the styled ones so we don't have to style everything right off the bat. So for folks just kind of catching up, or if you, hopefully we put chapters on this one. So if you are looking at the chapters, hopefully you just jumped into this section of how we're installing Tailwind. Basically we ran npx svelte-add at latest Tailwind CSS. And that put Tailwind in, and it configured it all correctly, which was wonderful. We then ran npm installed DaisyUI, and we're just about to add DaisyUI as a plugin to Tailwind.
You just need that I just put in the private chat in your Tailwind config. So in the plugins, you just need to require DaisyUI, and you don't need that config. It's all optional.
I think I grabbed all of the. Cool. So I thought they had a layout component. Maybe I'm crazy because they have specific like themes, I believe.
Yeah, you can like swap out the themes really easily. So maybe under the themes tab.
Maybe we should mention also that. Oh yeah, here it is. We should mention also like why I kind of like DaisyUI, and this is something when we were building our site, you kind of were like, why do we keep writing all this classes? Why don't we just create these components? So what they've done, and the reason that I kind of like the idea is the same reason you were saying it before, is instead of all of this stuff for every single time you put a button in, you just have a single button, which Brittany did on our site. She did primary dash button or button primary, I think.
Yeah,
And button
something like
secondary. And
so you
so
make extra utility classes that include the utility classes.
Yeah, which is cool. It definitely simplifies things, and DaisyUI is doing that for us on this. So, which is nice because then we can just theme Daisy and hopefully use the majority of what they have, and then add our own.
This still does add the same complexity problem, though, where you have each of those on one button. Unless you create a button component that is your atom, you're still going to have to change that in every instance of your button.
You mean the like having the button primary piece to it, or
so like if you created a component called button and you put that on it and then created props for primary and secondary and had it update the class based on which one you put into that component, that's like making your button atomic. So you have like one button that you're using everywhere on your site. So you just have to change it in one place. And that's what I was talking about with Tailwind. And it would be the same problem here, is that you would have to go and find each button and update your classes unless you create that one atomic button.
Yeah. And so you wouldn't consider this atomic though, because it has button without like theme, and then it has kind of a themed button. And if you ever needed to update it, you could just update like the necessary parts of that.
But so if you need that one button changed, yes. But if you have that button duplicated on multiple pages, then what are you going to do?
I mean, I would just update the button primary piece, right?
On
Maybe
just
I'm
one
maybe I'm
page?
missing what you're adding.
So if you have a button that's on multiple pages or routes or like in different areas, you're going to have to change that button primary in all of those spots if you're updating the code for all of them. So if you
only
have
if I wanted it to like look different, right?
yeah.
Because
But
coloring.
you would want your theme to stay consistent through your site, right? So you would want your buttons to have like a primary or secondary.
Okay.
I don't know how I can explain that different.
I know I'm missing something, and that's fine. I would consider this at the atomic level because it's just a raw button at that point.
It's a raw button in one instance, though, unless it's a button component
Which
that
this
is being
is.
reused.
That's what this is at this point. So that's the
Are you
equivalent.
going to drop that code straight into a button component in your Svelte code?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Then it will be. Let's do that real quick. Let's try to do that.
I think we're saying the same thing.
Maybe.
So this is the code that I plan on us using over here.
But you're using it in a file, in a page.
Yeah.
It's not atomic.
So that's interesting. Like, I definitely want to talk about that more. We should probably like, where are we at? We got 20 minutes for our 90-minute. How far do you want to get with the actual like visual, and then maybe we do a whole atomic discussion?
Okay. Just get something on the screen, and then I'll show you what I mean.
Okay. So there's our button.
There we go. We got the dark screen. That is not accessible now.
No. I'm surprised it flipped to dark. I wonder if I
You
have to
had that
include.
purple in there, so maybe take that purple out
Oh
from the
yeah, we can
Tailwind code.
definitely take that out.
So that
I'm
was just a
wondering on our
tester.
button, I'm surprised. I guess that's accessible. I'm surprised it
That's
won't.
probably accessible. It was that gray text on that purple that
Oh
was
yeah, yeah.
not.
That was my bad. Cool. So we have a button, and if we ever wanted to change that to be like our button primary, we can go like that, and then we have it. And the cool part is if we ever want to swap this theme out, we just like on my Alex Patterson, I'm actually using this. This is Daisy, and we can swap that theme out to like whatever the user wants or just
Yeah,
something we want. Brittany
you can
told
do
me the
some
other
like
day, I don't know if you can hear it, but when you change themes on my site, it purrs.
it purrs, and then if you do them like really fast, it's like on top of each other. It sounds really funny. I can't hear the
It
purring, so
sounds
I
like
don't
a
think it's coming
herd of
through.
cats, right?
It does. It sounds like tigers running across your headphones.
Oh my goodness. Cool. So where do we want to take this? Do we want to try
Nice.
to make it look like our page, or are we in like redesign mode and we can show off some Tailwind goodness? I think
You
the other
wanna
day you
try to
told me like
design this
you
page
can
or
throw
what?
Figma out, like where we can just design on the fly, right?
Yeah, I think we can just design on the fly. We can see what we want, but I wanna do that from, like I was saying, the atomic level. So I wanna
Okay.
start with the component. So if we're designing our button right now, I wanna break this out into a component first.
Okay. What does that mean for you on top of the component that we're using here?
So that that you're using is not a component. That is an HTML element.
Okay.
I'm talking about making a Svelte component
Gotcha.
called
Cool.
button.svelte.
And what's
Throwing
the what's the advantages of using svelte components?
so then you just have an atomic component. So that component's going to have that same code, but you can make a prop out of primary and secondary, and you can update each component instance to whichever instance of the button that you create. So you have one button in one place to update your code.
And that's so that's like we would pass this class in to get that then?
I can show you more
Sure.
than I can like
Yeah.
explain this and tell
Let's
you.
cue it up.
So we want to create a place for our components. So I was talking last time about the convention in Svelte Kit of having the lib folder, but we can do it wherever we want. So do you want to in the SRC directory?
I wanna do it however you guys usually do it.
Top level, just like we usually do. So in the SRC folder,
Okay.
create a lib folder,
We'll make this very,
because
very svelte friendly.
and then components folder inside
Cool.
of that.
Okay.
Because this way we can use the default aliases without setting them up too. We can use that $lib
Oh
alias.
yeah, that's right.
So inside of components now, we can create a button.svelte, and the convention is capital B, but
Oh, okay.
it's preference.
Yep.
If it's a
That's kinda
component,
reacty.
it's capital B. If it's a route or page, it's a lowercase.
Okay, love it. Cool.
Okay, so now you can cut that button that you just put in index.svelte.
Okay.
Yeah, or just retype it either way.
Cool.
Okay. And so here, what we want to do is we want to create two props, right? We want a primary and a secondary button.
Is that a script tag to
So
do that?
you use the script tag, yep, and you export the props so that they're accessible by other components. Export let. You can do primary and then secondary. We can do this a different way too. So take export out of that.
Okay.
And then put secondary on a new line and put let in front of it. You have to do this part separate.
Oh.
So do let primary, let secondary. And then underneath that, do export and do curly braces, primary, comma, secondary.
Cool.
Okay. So now we need a way to make that primary, instead of it being static there, that needs to be dynamic. So we need to wrap that class in backticks to use template literals.
Is it the whole class you want wrapped or just inside the value?
You're going to have to do the whole class.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. The whole actual class name, not the class equals part. Now do
This, right?
backticks. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yep. And then
Okay.
BTN and then BTN dash.
And do a little special.
Yeah. And you're gonna, how are we gonna do that?
You can set a default if you want.
Yeah.
I'm trying. And again, forgive me. This is your world, not mine. I'm trying to figure out the advantage of this over just being able to specify like primary, secondary on all of the buttons.
Because those live in many places and they
Mm-hmm.
still live in many places, but you have the ability here to set what your atomic level things are.
Yeah, and
So you could change anything about the button, the padding, the stuff from one place
mhm,
without having to go to each instance and do that.
gotcha. So like it's if whatever we wanted to change all of our buttons instead of having a block or whatever they come out as. So instead of having them all be large, we would want to change them to medium because that's our new style.
Yeah, so that's in one place
Cool.
instead of it being
I'm slowly
in
getting there. See.
sorry. I know that
Um,
was a little convoluted,
so
but
I think what I would actually do then, maybe, I'm still trying to think how you would pass this in all over the place, but I might almost just allow the whole class name to be passed.
oh, I know how we would do it. We would create a ternary and we would say if primary, then do button primary. If secondary, do secondary.
Okay.
So inside here, you're in JavaScript land. So primary question mark, and then you can do in quotation marks
Are we
primary.
are we just going to do the two? Because then
I
I'll just do an or. Like
I think for now we just need two, but I don't know. That's the advantage of having it in one file, though. You change it in this one place and it'll update everywhere.
okay.
So you need that in single quotes or in like some kind of quotation marks
Oh, so
because that's gonna
we're not even gonna pass
string
a
that together.
value to this, right?
I mean, you can by default, so you could put something in there if you don't have either one of those.
Hmm.
So if it's not primary, then you would do just
Another.
primary.
So actually, if it is primary, we would use the value. If it's not,
No,
then
you actually need to use that in quotes like you had it because what this is doing is concatenating button to primary. So it's going
yeah.
to say button dash primary if primary is true.
I was just thinking like if we wanted to pass a different value in, we
And
would then set it.
if you wanted to set primary to default, you would just set it to true up top in the script.
Okay.
So let primary equal to true, and then it's going to default to the primary value. And that's not what you want to do. Take the first strings primary and then do an or
Yep.
secondary.
Okay.
And so up top, you're going to do let primary equal to true. So this way, if primary is defaulted to true right now, it's going to concatenate that BTN dash with button primary.
Yep. Cool.
So now if we pass secondary in, it's going to pass the secondary piece in. So you actually don't even need that secondary variable right now. It's not being used.
Does JavaScript run, like, do I have to put anything in here? It seems like this is HTML, but in order to run a string like this,
It runs once you have curly braces. So that $sign in front is not right. Oh wait.
So if we're accessing any variables, I would have to do this, but we can put another one in if we want.
Yeah, let's put another one in, and then so you don't need the $sign. You need the curly brace and then the back tick. No, go back. I mean undo. I should be writing this. I'm sorry.
I thought you have access, don't you?
So I do. Where are we at?
You're in button.svelte.
Button.svelte. Okay. That would be way easier, wouldn't it?
There we go.
Okay, so curly brace
I thought
and
you were just tired
curly
today
brace.
with like the kids' pool stuff.
I'm so sorry. So, okay. So now we see that we're in JavaScript world when we get this first curly brace. So we're going into JavaScript, we're doing a template literal, and we have a string. We have a string btn dash, and
Cool.
then we're checking for the primary value. And if it's primary and it's true, it's going to put that primary right there. If
Cool.
it's secondary, or if it's primary is not true, it will, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So that is our button. And we also need btn here also, right?
Yes.
Because it's button and button primary.
You
Okay.
got it. So
That
are
is
we
right.
gonna do that for all of the values then? Because they do have defaults, I believe, already on there. So like if you didn't put primary, it would come out. But we're kind of saying that modifier we've just set up. So
So
are we
we
going
could
to allow
create
all
this
these?
second one as a value, and you could do an array of things that are available instead of secondary here, and then it would pick from the array, but that would, you would need some kind of function to like do that.
Yeah, I feel like then we're just reinventing what they've already invented.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to do that because then in each instance of your button, you would be picking a different thing, right?
How would I like actually use a button success then if we wanted it?
I see what you're saying.
That's where I'm like, I'm kind of against this whole like atomic piece because we want certain things to happen in certain places, and that's why we code it
Well,
that way.
we have to create props for those. So you just need if
I feel like this is the prop already. Like that's the part I'm struggling with. I don't know.
okay. So you're saying like
Folks
that's the
out
prop
there,
already.
what do you
So
think?
in
What am I crazy? Like I feel like the utility class is already our prop. Okay, cool. I like where we're headed though. So is that kind of how you create a svelte? This is a svelte component at this point?
this is a svelte component. Yeah.
Is
So
there
if
is there anything more to svelte components? Like React, I get the props thing. It looks like anytime you want to execute JavaScript, you just put a curly brace, which is exactly like React.
like
Um,
JSX.
or JSX, thank you. Is there anything else that might be different than JSX world? Is there
There's some
return
different
statements or like do you have
templating.
to?
You don't have to return anything. So anything under, so you have a script section for your JavaScript. You have your markup section, which is just HTML. Once you have a curly brace, you're in either Svelte templating or JavaScript. So like you used the pound each the other day.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
that is a Svelte templating block. There's also an if block and an async block. So you can use those templating blocks in that markup section. And then there's also a style block. So if we weren't using Tailwind, we could come in here and we could say button and create some styles on this button. And even though I'm using the element selector here, this is scoped to this component by
Sure.
default. So it's like CSS modules without having to deal with a separate file and having it
That's cool. So
separated. So
would you mind just putting something out there and I'll show the screen where because I think it'll put like a little hash CSS in there.
oh, that's an ugly color. Hot pink. Let's do that one.
Let's take a look. Where are we?
Where'd it go? It's not overwriting this though, because this is, so I would have to cut this out, I think. Let me cut the whole class out. Oops.
Cool. We're not using that button.
Oh, you're not using it.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what is happening? Because that probably would have.
Yeah, so this is a good point. How do I import Svelte components?
Okay, so like in
For
your
you, how do you
index.svelte
do it?
file. Okay, I'll do that. So over in the index.svelte file for podcasts, as that's where we're at, right?
We're just
Okay.
at the main page. Yeah, the top level.
We're going to do import, and we're going to import the button from, and we're going to use this $lib, which is kind of funny, but this is what comes with SvelteKit by default. So that's just pathing that for us without having to do the // So this will get us to that lib folder, and then we need to go into components folder, and then that button.svelte file.
Cool.
And sometimes the IntelliSense does the little red lines, and then that, and then where did we want to use that button?
Wherever. Yeah, just actually throw it at the top of that because that's getting pretty long.
Okay, I will. Oh, not that.
Whoa. He did some weird magic just then.
Okay, so I held Alt and it will move the line.
Alt
And so now we're using the button. And did I take the class out, save that? And did it just change? It did. We just lost the daisy styling, right?
Yep. So if you put BTN, you would at least get the rounded
Padding,
border.
one rem. I mean, that and that border radius. I mean, yeah.
Cool. So it's hot module as well.
0.5. Oh yeah, the hot module reloading is done by V, and it is really, really fast.
It's super fast. So the other cool part, if we
inspect here, hang on just 1 second too. I want to go back and do that button and put.
Let me just show them the CSS part, and then.
Okay, yeah, show that, and then I want to show the DaisyUI how we could change that prop.
So what Brittany was talking about when it's localized CSS, it actually appended, Vite does this, I believe. So it appended this kind of hashed CSS class right here. And if I do a find, that is the actual style.
That's actually Svelte that's doing that.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool. So I didn't realize the bundler was in Svelte. That's awesome. So at this level, you can find that style and it's calling out exactly what she wrote in here. And the nice part, if you look at this, I don't know how you wrote it. Hopefully it's Tailwind, right? Nope, you didn't. Maybe.
Where?
This. Okay.
I didn't do that in Tailwind.
I didn't know if Tailwind would automatically come out.
Oh, so I could do at, what is it? Add apply. Yeah. And BG, I don't know what they're pink. Let's do a pink 600 and do text white, P4 rounded large. Yeah, that should work. Oh, but you have to do lang equals post CSS maybe. Yeah, that worked.
Yep. So the cool part, as Brittany put in Tailwind and applied it to this, it came out as actual CSS on the other side.
And can you show real quick where I did that lang equals post CSS?
Actually, am I covering up? No, they can see it. Okay.
Yeah, they can see that. So it comes through as the regular CSS classes. But if you go back to the code real quick, you can see that I had to put lang equals post CSS here, because it wasn't reading that add apply, because this is regular CSS until you specify the language. And so the same thing I saw in one of our things, you have to do lang equals TS up here if you want to use TypeScript and not get yelled at.
Those are great tips. Like we should just zoom a whole chapter right there. Hot tips.
Okay, those are hot tips. I'm going to undo a bunch here and get us back to the Tailwind DaisyUI classes, and I want to show that prop.
Cool.
Okay, save that. Go back over to our podcast. And so right now, primary is true. So we're using primary button. Is that what that's using?
Yes.
Okay, button primary. So if we do primary equal to, let's see if that doesn't work. We need false. Save. What happened? On our screen. Nothing. What's coming through? I can't see for our faces.
It still says primary. So do you have to refresh to pull in components, or is it hot module?
Should be hot module. Oh, I didn't save it somewhere, I think, maybe. I'm trying to find where all my, got too many tabs open. So button primary, then it's primary.
Oh, it's always true.
But I'm passing it in and saying it's false.
Sorry. Where is the button? Right here. Does it have to be JavaScript?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. I think so, because otherwise it's a string and it comes true.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's the secondary button.
Cool. And so for our buttons, so let's say for this component, I wanted to use a success one. In my head, and I'm a very simple person, unfortunately.
You're not a simple person. I'm
I
just
would
not
actually,
explaining it very well.
I would actually like put the value of success.
I see what you're saying. But then every success button that you have, if you ever changed one thing about it, you would have to go find every button success.
So would you
So we need
instead
to.
make another button that's specifically success?
I would just set it up to be props so that we would have everything living on that one thing. And you can do classes in Svelte that will check for certain variables. And if those variables exist, then it will put specific classes on it. So it would just require more code in that button.svelte component.
Okay, cool.
And we can look at like a headless UI component and stuff and
Yeah.
see how that's done next time.
That's what I was thinking. Let's do a whole like atomic piece to all of this next time.
Yeah.
Please let us know. I know there's like 5 of you still out there. If you're enjoying this, getting anything out of it, we love doing it. We love showing this stuff off, and it helps us create tutorials at the end of the day. And Brittany and I get to hang out on Fridays now.
Yes.
And she doesn't get too mad at me, even if I question atomic stuff.
I'm not mad. I'm just frustrated at myself for not
No,
explaining this very well.
No, it's me.
And I'm going to look it up, and we're going to have a better explanation next time.
I know. I'm excited for the next one. So yeah, let us know. DM either of us on Twitter, CoderCatDev or Brittany Postma. All the ways, come check out our podcast, please. We would love sponsors on that thing. We're still looking for one more for the end of the year. Anything else? Any other shout outs? You got more things coming?
I don't know. The Svelte AMA, the Svelte Origins premiere is next Tuesday, and I'm hosting the AMA. I know Rich Harris is going to be there, Guillermo, and Sean's not going to be there, but there's like several of us that are going to be there promoting right before the premiere of Svelte Origins, which I'm hoping I'm in. I haven't seen it yet, and I'm very nervous because I didn't get like the clip. They're like, we'll send you the clip before so you can see what it looks like. I never got it. So it's just going to be out there.
Nice. I think I saw you in here somewhere.
Oh, my face is like right. Yeah, can you share that? Because it's like I literally died. I was like,
I can't remember where you were. I was like, oh, that's pretty.
It's on the regular Svelte Origins page. Like there's a big picture of all of us together. Svelte Origins.
I have it in an
documentary.
email. I'm very nervous to show my email. I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing my screen. I was showing the video.
I have it. Let me share. Oh, you got it? Is it? Yeah. No, that's not it.
Oh, that's not it?
No, that's the trailer. There's the.
Oh,
Did I just add all of us? I did. Okay. So let me scroll down. But like, I just died seeing this.
Yeah, you're up there with some amazing people.
Right? Oh, yeah. And Scott Talinsky is going to be there, but Sean will not be there. But the rest of us, I think, will be there on Tuesday answering questions. I'm hosting. I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous because the kids are home.
I'm so happy there's some diversity on this page. If it was another white dude in your spot, it'd be so frustrating.
It would be very frustrating. So I'm very glad that they're welcoming, inclusive, and are adding some of the fun things. And that's why I created Svelte Sirens, to have that. So
yep, love it. So check out Svelte Sirens too, and check out codingcat.dev. And we'll see you next Friday. And peace out, perfect peeps.
Cool coders, crazy cat coders.
Yeah, one of these days we'll actually figure that out.
We need like a weird run of us saying all the names. Did you just switch the brand?
Yeah, because I was gonna do this.